Rise and shine, everyone. It's 7:30 on your Friday morning, October the 4th. Thank you for joining us today and every weekday here on Rise and Shine. So on Fridays, we get to visit with Ellen Hurst with Alabama Cares. And Ellen has brought a guest in with us this morning. So welcome, Ellen. How are you?
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Okay, we do the happy Friday dance. Do you want to join us in it? He's not a dancer.
I'll give a sway.
Do the Happy Friday sway.
And Giant State plays Kennesaw State this evening, so.
And you're going to be there rooting them on.
Rooting them on. So,
of course.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Well, wonderful. I'm looking forward to this conversation this morning. It's nice to meet you. I'd like to introduce you to our viewers, so why don't you introduce yourself?
Myles Chamblee, I'm the director at the Calhoun County Emergency Management Agency.
There you go. Well, welcome, Myles. Thank you. Ellen.
Well, it's all over the news, and I feel like since Hurricane Helene was in the forefront of everybody's mind, and that's when I called you and I said, it's already in the news. We thought it'd be great to discuss preparedness for potential disaster and how people could better prepare if there is such thing, right? And also, in North Carolina, no one thought that it would affect them. I know like in eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, they're in the Appalachian Mountains, and everybody's like, well, we don't have to prepare. It's a hurricane. But that's like, I guess telling them to prepare for a hurricane is like telling, I thought, Florida to prepare for a blizzard, right?
Right.
Right. So
sure.
They're not used to that. So they didn't think that they would face, hurricane issues. So many people are still unaccounted for. Mm-hmm. And can you maybe discuss with what families can do to prepare for disasters, like emergency plans, or what can they do?
For sure. So I like to keep it in 3 simple steps. Number 1 is to be able to receive emergency alerts and emergency information. If you're not getting the information or know what's going on, you can't make those decisions for yourself and your family, that potentially life-saving decisions. Do you need to evacuate? Do you need to shelter? Things like that. Part 2 to that is having a plan. So when you get that information, do you know what to do? Does your family know what to do? Do your kids know what to do? And not just at home, but if you're at the store, if they're at school, if you're in your vehicle, having a plan to do something anywhere that you are. And the last part to that is having supplies. So building your emergency kit, having those extra supplies on hand. As you said, with Hurricane Helene and what we're seeing in North Carolina and South Carolina, it's very important to have enough supplies for 72 hours, because it could take some time for emergency responders to get to you. We don't like to talk about that. It's scary.
It is scary.
But that is,
But it's kind of like funeral planning. You don't want to talk about it, but it's something you got to do.
You got to do,
thing,
right.
But, and I know, like with our agency, when the tornadoes hit, was it 2011, 2014, the ones that went through Webster's Chapel?
2011 and again in 2021 as well.
Well, it was 2011, I remember, and Alabama Department of Senior Services, who is our governing agency over all the area agencies on aging, they had gotten a grant, and I'm not sure if it was with FEMA or if it was with, I don't know, I know it was a federal grant, and they gave us bags to give to all our senior citizens, and they had flashlights, batteries. We actually went a little step further. We put medication boxes in there so that they could count out their medication for so many days and all that kind of thing. And we told them to keep it somewhere where they could find it. And that's with any age though too, I think. To keep it in a closet, like in where you keep your coats or something in the hallway. I don't know, just somewhere where it was easy access for your family. And if you have a dog or a cat, keep food in there for for them or whatever, so that you can take them. So what do you suggest that they put in their emergency?
So obviously food, water, medications. It's hard to stockpile medications, with getting your prescription from the pharmacy, so it's difficult sometimes, but making sure that you have those on hand. And then any other potential needs that you have for your family. Like you said, if you have animals or if you have elderly people, anybody disabled or other special needs, making plans for all of those for your family, especially if you get into a situation where you have to evacuate and go somewhere. You know, a lot more planning and logistics goes into that than just being able to,
Well, how
you know,
about
just
cash?
up and leave.
Should they take cash in there because ATMs might be out?
So for sure, having cash on hand, all your vital records, having those. So I'd recommend having those in a hard copy and a digital backup. As North Carolina, a lot of those homes are washed away, so having those hard copies, they don't have those anymore. So
Well,
having both a digital and hard copy.
I know that we told our seniors this is what in our training they told us to tell our seniors to make copies of all their mortgage, their insurance, their all these things, but to send a hard copy or give a hard copy to a family member that did not live in their area. Like something like if you had a family member that lived in Georgia versus Alabama, or if you had a family member that lived in Mississippi or somewhere else, like to have them designated as the person who has your extra. I mean, is that still a good
No, sure.
idea?
Any amount of redundancy that you can put in there, I think, as you said, as Hurricane Helene has reminded us, you know, you can't prepare too much. That can't be overstated. There's not too much preparing. I know for me, I live it every day. Is what I do, and sometimes you feel ridiculous stockpiling everything, and you feel like a prepper. But making those preparations, excuse me, ahead of time. I mean, you can't do too much of that.
Right, and I think that's so important, and people just don't. And what happens? Like, what should they do to get that information? I mean, like, what kind of things that are out there besides a weather radio? That's an important thing.
That's very important.
I mean, make sure that the batteries are working in it, that kind of thing, and that it's actually. Set to your station or set to your area, correct?
Yes.
How can they go somewhere to do that?
So weather radios, we have the alert system you can sign up for on through our website. You can go to countyema.org. There's a link on there you can sign up for alerts. We have our siren system. There's a lot of apps that are out there that people can download. We recommend having multiple methods, at least 3 methods of receiving those emergency alerts, because as we've seen that there's fail points to all of it, so having those redundancies in place to receive that information.
Right. So we'll just use North Carolina as an example, because that's what's going on right now. So how do you think that, like, what happened, like, because there's thousands of people still that are unaccounted for, that are people, because I know I'm getting my degree. I'm still in school. Oh my gosh, I enrolled in school. What was I thinking? But anyway, I love it though. I do. It's a very interesting subject, and I have a wonderful professor, and the people that are in my class are wonderful too, because there's people actually there that are in the EMA already, and there's already people there that work with FEMA, and there's military people in there. There's actually military people that are actually in North Carolina helping and everything. So they've got boots on the ground trying to find those people. So you register with the Red Cross, or tell them this is the address. I haven't been able to get in touch with them. This is my family member, that kind of thing. So what are some of the challenges that people face with communication, even if you have a weather radio? Sometimes that's not enough.
So it's a very difficult and complicated situation, especially when you're talking about missing persons or missing people in that area, and how to account for those. So it could be, one, there's just not good cell phone service. Maybe the people still are missing. Maybe they've been found and they just haven't thought to call back in and say, hey, I'm off the list. How many people from out of town, family members from out of town, are calling saying, hey, I can't get in touch with my relatives. So that list builds, and it's hard to just wrap your arms around all of that and get a hold of it. So it just takes time. So it's hard to say how many are actually still missing, how many have been accounted for and need to be taken off the list, or haven't communicated with a family member. So in that situation, it's very difficult, and it just takes a lot of time. And what end up happening is somebody will have to get that whole list of missing people and just go through there and just call on every single one of them. Like you said, there's numerous on there, potentially thousands of people, and having to go through and contact all those people, which is difficult to do because cell phone service is very limited.
Because that's why the family members can't get in touch with them. So, And you know, people, you know, I know that a lot of you know, talk is, you know, well, it's in the mountains, you know, how can a hurricane, you know, and I've read an article about it was the perfect storm kind of thing, because they actually got like 11 inches of rain prior to the hurricane. They had thunderstorms that came through, like we get thunderstorms, right? And then that went away, and then all of a sudden you have this hurricane coming in, dropping all this water in there. And explain to everyone about the I guess the formula there in the mountains, what people should worry about in the mountains, because people don't realize that mountains it's a pretty dangerous thing when all that water falls.
Yes, so the complexity of a hurricane, so we mostly get tornadoes around here. That's, you know, kind of our big topic we talk about. But with hurricanes, you have the potential of, one, you got the strong winds just off of the hurricane or tropical storm itself. Tornadoes is a potential with it. I don't know if y'all have seen the map. I forgot how many, I think there's a few hundred tornado warnings that came out with the hurricane. And then you also have the water, obviously from the rainfall. And as you said, it started raining before the storm actually got there. It rains there. And then if you think about, I'm sure y'all have been to the Smoky Mountains before. When you get a lot of rain, there's not many places for that water to go on the mountain. It goes straight.
It has to go somewhere.
It has to go somewhere, and it goes straight down into those valleys. And if you think about it, a lot of the roads there are built in the valley along the river because it's easier to build the roads there. Also, just us as humans, we like being on the water and building up around the water and the river because it looks pretty. But then when you have a situation like this, like you said, they had I think close to 30 inches of rain in several locations, and that water's got to go somewhere.
Right, and then you think about all the trees in the mountains, so they're going to be uprooted, falling. Then when they uproot and fall, then you look at mudslides. I mean, there's like all these it's like a domino effect, and people don't realize. So you know, the vital records and everything, like we said about medications and all that, and how to get in touch with loved ones. I mean, do you think that and I think I told you this on the phone the other day when I talked to you, I've heard about satellite phones. Do you think that that's going to be a new thing that people may go to, I mean, in the areas that is high, you know, risk?
So possibly, you know, satellite phones have been around for a long time. They're really good, but the problem is they're also really expensive.
Yes.
And not for the phone itself, but for the service on it. As satellites are becoming more popular now, especially in the rural areas with satellite internet, that may change. I can't say specifically, I haven't heard anything, but you know, it would be a good thing if everybody had satellite phone for sure.
Oh yeah, wouldn't it be great? And especially, you know, in Alabama, I think about the 10 counties I cover, there's so many areas that don't have internet. There's so many areas that, you know, I mean, and then if they do have internet, you run into the problem of like the elderly that don't know how to use technology. So that's a lot too.
I'd love to talk more about that. Like if you are in a remote area, what are some of those plans that you can put in place? So let's do that when we get back from a break. We're gonna go hear a word from some of our sponsors, but we'll be right back. Stay tuned. You're watching Rise and Shine right here on WEAC TV 24.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upward Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
Come out and check out the Alabama Tractor Difference. We can take care of all your needs of parts, sales, and service for RTVs, zero turns, and tractors and construction equipment. See us here in Lincoln at 620 Speedway Industrial Drive. Or come visit us here in Asheville at 275 6th Avenue, or give us a call at 205-594-7000.
At Southern States Bank, we pride ourselves on being your bank. We're your neighbors and involved in the community. We're the bank featuring the Southern Rewards checking account, a cashback account with no ATM fees. We are on the cutting edge and always have a smiling face to help you out. So come to Southern States Bank, where we are committed to great service and being a great neighbor. Let us be the bank for you and your business.
Hughes Paint and Body Works Towing and Recovery in Oxford is the area's leading auto body shop, serving Anniston, Oxford, Talladega, and surrounding areas since 1996. They specialize in auto body repair and refinishing, paint correction, paintless dent repair, towing, and so much more. For all of your auto body needs, contact Hughes Paint and Body Works Towing and Recovery at 256-835-1170. Also online at HughesPaintandBody.com.
I'm Alan Parnell with Parnell Insurance Agency. We've been here in Oxford and Alabama, Tallapoosa, Georgia since 1990. With Auto Owners Insurance, we're able to give customers competitive pricing along with excellent coverages. Parnell Insurance can handle all of your personal, commercial, and life insurance needs. We have a very experienced staff, both personal and commercial. All together, we've got about 125 years experience. Come see what our insurance agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, and Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Auto Owners Insurance.
At Bentley Prosthetic and Medical Supply, we care about you. We offer custom prosthetics, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and durable medical supplies. We're located here in Alexandria, Alabama, where it's a country feel but professional care. Come see us today.
Rise and shine, everyone. It's Friday, October the 4th. It's 7:45 in the morning. Welcome back. We are visiting with Calhoun County Director of the EMA. Myles is here with us to share some great insightful information. And of course, we have Ellen Hurst with Alabama Cares. And so we're going to pick up where we left off. We were talking about, of course, preparedness. And as we see in the media, and our hearts and our prayers go out to all of those who are affected by, I have a hard time not crying through it, but the devastation that's happening in North Carolina. And so preparedness, of course, is on top of everyone's mind right now. And how do we make sure that we stay prepared? Because that's a hard thing to do. I mean, we have everyday lives, we have all of these things going on, and then to think about something. And Ellen, you mentioned in the first segment, that we oftentimes, that's not going to happen to us. Like we live in this area, that's not something that we're going to be affected by.
Or when it does, the thing about it is that, you're supposed to learn from everything, right? You're supposed to learn from it, but then everybody learns from it, just like with the 2011 thing I told you about, that, our agency even was like, we're not our agency, but our government agency was like, okay, you need to go do this, blah, blah, blah. And then after we did it, it just kind of, everybody got amnesia about it and just kind of went to the wayside. And then it's forgotten about until the next disaster happens. That's the way I look at it. It's just like nobody thinks about it, but then when it happens, and everybody gets complacent, but yes. We shouldn't. We live in Alabama. There's tornadoes all the time.
Right. So it's easy to become complacent. I think we're just creatures of habit. You want to get back to normal and do your normal thing. You don't want to think about those disasters all the time. Have anxiety all the time, thinking about everything that could possibly happen. But
that's where being prepared can help ease that anxiety about it. Like if you have that weather radio, you have a plan, like you mentioned in the first segment. If you have a plan, okay, if in case this does happen, this is what we're going to do, and to make sure that all of your family that live in your household understand that plan. And even go as far as to having drills. I know we have them in schools and stuff, okay, if this has happened, why not have it at home too? Hey, if this is to happen, if there's a tornado, everybody get to this place, or if you're not at home, this is where you go. Are those things that you help educate the community on?
Yes, we do. We try to have talks. We do a lot at the schools. We do some with other civic organizations, try to have those conversations. Like for me in my house, so if there's severe weather, I'm not going to be at home with my family, so my wife and kids are there by themselves. So I have to make sure that they know what to do. I have to train them. One, it gives me a peace of mind because I'm having to go to work and do things, work related or storm wise. So it gives me the peace of mind knowing that they know what to do and they going through the steps. steps to prepare, whether it's a tornado or whatever, that we have supplies on hand and they know what to do if there is a tornado.
Yeah.
Right, and you said that you did education. I know that I talked to you several weeks ago too, because I'm always picking his brain. I'm sorry about that, but he's a good brain to
I think
pick.
that's great.
But you were talking about how since the last tornadoes here in Alabama, about how the last ones that came through, well, the one specifically I think was 2018, that one that came through, that now you have programs in the schools. I mean, talk a little bit more about that and what schools are involved.
So we do, especially with the county schools at the tech school with their nursing program, we do it's called a Teen CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. They're not necessarily on a team, but it gives them the skills more than just your regular preparedness. So they go through a lot of CPR and things that they do with nursing anyways, but some search and rescue skills, or if they encounter a situation where you have to triage somebody or do a tourniquet, a little bit more than just your basic first aid. So they go through all of those skills, even to like if there's something that happens and they need to bandage them up and make a makeshift little pallet or something to carry them outside. So they go through all of those skills.
I was part
there.
of that a little bit. I got to teach about dementia and Alzheimer's to that class. That was awesome. So do you guys go into other schools? I mean, and teach kids like what to do in case of an emergency?
We do. We have a few different programs that are out there. We've done some similar training with like Oxford's nursing program. Some of the elementary schools, we've partnered with the Red Cross. They have it's called Pillowcase Project. So they give them a pillowcase, and on the pillowcase it has a list of all the items you need to put in there, kind of like their little kit. It's built for the kids, so it's pretty neat. So we have a few different programs that we do.
And how does I mean, is it school specific, or can other schools get involved? Or?
So if anybody's interested in any sort of preparedness program, they can always reach out to us at our office. Just give us a call, and we're more than happy to go wherever, whether it's a daycare or a school or a church.
Because I know it makes your job easier, more people that are trained.
Sure.
Right?
For sure, yes.
Preparedness. Why don't you tell our viewers what your phone number is there at the Calhoun County EMA?
So our phone number is 256-435-0540, and then our website is calhounema.org.
Wonderful, and you've got all kinds of resources there. When we went to break, there we go, right here, and you can actually scan that scan code right there, so that's great information. Preparedness, I'm sure there's lots of tips on there, and if you have any questions or want to be educated in preparedness, the Calhoun County EMA is there to assist you. So there's the phone number there and that scan code, so thank you. When we went to break, we were talking about rural areas because that is one of the places that's affected, that is harder to get to or may have like a lack of technology. So what are some preparedness tips for those who do live out in the rural areas?
So for sure, having those supplies on hand to be self-sufficient for up to 72 hours, because like you said, in the rural areas, normal travel is usually a little bit more delayed than it is in the city. So if you add on top of that a tornado or whatever that knocks out the roads, or there's trees across roads, and it's even less, able to travel through there, being able to, have some things to sustain yourself for up to 72 hours. And when we were talking about building a kit, I like to keep it simple and not just, you don't have to go out and just buy a bunch of bulk supplies. but when you, and it gets expensive now. My grocery bill is a bit ridiculous here lately. But just buying a couple extra supplies, get an extra case of water the next time you go, or get some extra cans of food, and just kind of slowly build that up where you're not having to just buy a big bulk of something at one time that can be expensive.
Make sure you have a can opener too.
And make sure you have a manual can opener.
Yeah, manual can, not an electric can opener, but a manual can opener. Because if you have all these cans, but you can't get into them.
You can't get them open,
Yeah. I mean, people don't think about that. I mean, we're so spoiled using electricity for everything, technology for everything, and one of the big things is we tell our folks all the time to make sure that your cell phones are charged.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's a lot of people that, and I'm one of those that I am, I guess, a little OCD about that. I mean, I always keep my phone charged just because I just do. But there's a lot of people like my husband Sorry,
Maybe
Wayne.
me too.
But that will just let their phones go and just, and I'll never forget in 2018, I remember a young man that was actually on the football team, and I'm friends with his mom, and she lived in California. And I remember she called me because she was nervous wreck, and he was actually at the, not the point, but the ones that
The reserve.
Yes. And they were oblivious to even anything going on, and thank goodness it was spring break, right?
Yes.
But he and a few of the other guys were there, and they were playing. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Playing video games." I was like, "What? Get out of there!" Because he was on the top floor,
Oh my goodness.
And he said, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." And I said, and he was like, "But I've only got 4% on my phone." I was like, "Oh God."
Oh no.
Well, don't ask me where my phone battery's at.
Oh no. But it's just little things like that we don't think, because like I said, we do get complacent.
For sure.
All of us do. I mean,
Yes.
we're all guilty of
Sure.
that because, like you said, out of sight, out of mind. You just don't. You don't
Yeah,
think.
busy lives, so many things. I mean, you have today to worry about, and it's hard to really, prepare for tomorrow. But in the case that something does happen, like think about how, like, what peace of mind that will give you when you are prepared. When you do know, okay, that's okay. I have a case of water. I have some canned foods. I have my medications. I have pet supplies. If you have that ready.
Copies of your Medicare, Medicaid, your insurance cards, your things that you don't think about, that an extra set of glasses or reading glasses or whatever. Because I can't tell you how many people that when I got sent to the FEMA tent to help during the tornado, how many people I had to help because they couldn't find their prescription glasses, they couldn't find their Medicare card, they lost their medications, all these things, So, I mean, it's just very important to, what do I need every day? What are the necessities I have to have every day?
Yeah, and what I was going to say, and know what medications that you're on.
Yes.
A list of them, like a digital copy of the list.
A list of
somewhere.
medications. So if you lose them or something happens, we had a situation, this was back in 2014, we had Snowmageddon, we had some people stranded here in Calhoun County in Oxford, and their medications, their critical medications they had left at home. So we had to get with the health department and coordinate for them to get their medications. But so knowing what your medications are, if you need to get those refilled.
Right. That's very, very important information.
And to have it, like you said earlier, in a place where you can easily get it, because in a traumatic situation, we don't always remember, okay, I have everything here or know where it is. Like you want to escape with your life. I mean, that is the first and foremost, that's the most important thing.
And when somebody tells you to evacuate, they're not saying it just to say, you should evacuate.
It means evacuate.
That means you need to go, right?
It means
For
you
sure,
need to
yes.
find a
Yes.
Yeah. But in some cases, I mean, when you get that evacuation notice kind of a little later, or you're in one of those rural areas, that's where something like a weather radio would come in handy. Those are pretty inexpensive, and you can actually maybe even go, there's
a lot of
site.
people that have grants that actually give those away. Because I know at my events every month, there are two different vendors that we have that are, well, actually it was you were one of them, and then another, I can't remember the name of the other place was, but that they give them away as long as they're within the county or whatever.
Yeah, and that's great. So there are ways to gain access to a weather radio, and that's really important to have, because we know, cell phones, technology, I mean, we have, they those can go out.
And people don't realize too, I know that, because I hear it too, people say, oh, well, they should have evacuated or whatever. But at the flip side of that, people don't realize that there are some folks that maybe can't evacuate because they don't have gas in their vehicle, they're on limited income. We've seen a lot of that, Katrina, I know. But
they're disabled and can't get out.
And disabled or whatever. So that's when it comes, that's very important, I think, to like a registration system that we talked about in the break. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit more in depth.
Let's
whatever.
do that. Let's get into that when we get back. Let's take a quick break. Stay tuned though, because we'll be right back with more really important information from the Calhoun County EMA. So you're watching Rise and Shine right here on WEAC TV 24.
Campers Unlimited, we offer a no-pressure experience, no hidden fees, and great service after the sale, making us one of the fastest growing RV dealers in the Southeast. With our second location in Oxford, we offer a great selection of over 220 campers from top brands including Grand Design. Our mission is to help friends and family spend time together in the great outdoors. At Campers Unlimited, you aren't just a customer, you are family. Check out our inventory at campersunlimited.net or come see us at Gaston or Oxford.
Hello, I'm Taylor Sloan with the City of Oxford, with a word about one of our city's most precious resources, water. Clean water enriches our lives in so many ways, but we cannot afford to take it for granted. Remember, every time you pour something unnatural down the drain or in the environment, and every time you litter, our beautiful lakes and creeks suffer. Our city is beautiful. Let's all join together to keep it that way. Stop pollution where it starts, and help protect our waters for life.
What can you buy for $10? A hat? A milkshake? 166 channels plus live sports? That's right, for only $10 you can get 166 channels of classic TV shows and movies, including the latest news update from all around the world and local sports. Just simply go to 24ctn.com and click download, and then for only $10 you can have access to the best TV available.
Looking for unbeatable deals? Look no further than Shop 24, your go-to spot for incredible discounts and savings. From local dining and entertainment to grocery stores and everything you need, we've got deals you won't find anywhere else. But hurry, these hot deals are limited and going fast. Grab your phone and call now. Don't let these savings slip away. Join me, Kip Chappell, with Shop 24 every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Tune in to save big with Shop 24.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upward Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
May not believe it, but it's true. The 2024 Team 1 Chevys are here. All 23-24 Silverado light duties have 2.9% financing for 72 months. The hottest new 24 Team 1 Chevy Blazer, 1.9% financing and no payments till April. And the #1 selling family vehicle, the Equinox, 24 models. You got it. 1.9% financing and no payments till April. Team 1 Chevrolet, home of the best people, the best service, period.
Welcome back and rise and shine, everyone. It is Friday. Let's loosen up with a little Friday happy dance. It's October 4th, 8 o'clock in the morning. And so we have been visiting with EMA Director, Calhoun County. Myles, thank you for joining us. And of course, Ellen Hurst with us this morning with Alabama Cares. This is great information. This is stuff that everyone needs to know because emergencies can affect anyone and everyone. And as we've seen, never say, well, that's not going to happen to me, because there might be the case. And hopefully it won't be the case, but it's better to be prepared, right? It's kind of the better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it, right? And so preparedness, you prepare for the worst, hope for the best. I know there's all kinds of, little sayings out there, but those are true. And information, there's so many sources of information out there, and how to navigate that. Ellen was talking about that on break, and
just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true.
Hello, it's really, that is the case. We talk about that. Shocker. Shocker. Facebook is not the source for true information all the time.
Right.
Sure.
And if it, like Myles said, that just drives me insane. And I'm sorry, everyone, if you do this, but just this will be your tip for today, right? If it's on a yard sale page, a buy and sell page, if it's a missing person, missing dog, abused child, these people are playing on your heartstrings. And if it was true, it would be on a police site. It would be on an actual legit site, not a buy-sell yard sale.
Like what he said, if it's on Calhoun County Swappers, a missing person, chances are it's a scam.
And what they do, people don't realize, is that they get everybody to share it, and then they go back in and then they change all the information, change pictures or whatever because it's spam. I mean, they're trying to get their thing out there. So
so thank you for having good hearts and wanting to have good intentions of sharing this, but do your due diligence, check on that.
Don't share it.
Yeah, don't
Please
share
don't share it
unless it comes from a trusted source like the EMA or the police department or the fire department or a reputable news source.
Or the family member themselves.
Do your due diligence and check on that. And you could call the Calhoun County EMA and see, like, hey, I'm seeing that there's a missing person. Is this true information? And Calhoun County EMA would be very happy
more than happy to answer any questions.
Because misinformation can be super dangerous also.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. Like, what do you see?
Let's dive in.
How do you navigate that information and all this misinformation?
It's a challenge. One, as we talked about on the break, it's a daily challenge of misinformation and things that are out there. Understanding that there are bad actors that just want to spam or scam people. Some of it is just people being trolls and just want to mess with people and get a rise out of somebody.
Get a rise because rises get shares and they get comments and then.
So one, always vet and check the source. Be skeptical of everything you see on the internet, on social media. The digital age that we were talking about we're in it's great. It's good for sharing information, but it's also great for those that want to share bad information.
Unfortunately,
one of the biggest challenges is actually not just straight bad information or misinformation intentionally, but unintentionally. Maybe it's not the whole story to something, or there's more to it. Parts and pieces of it. So a situation we ran into, this was in really 2018 and 2021 with the tornadoes, is the registration for FEMA assistance can be sometimes a little cumbersome for people to do because you have to submit a lot of documentation to FEMA to get money from them on it. And as a part of that, you have to put whether or not you have insurance or not. So if you check the box, yes, you have insurance, you're going to get a letter back from them that says you're denied. So it doesn't say that, pending more information or anything like that. And, a few pages in on the back, it says you can appeal the decision on it. You can appeal it, and they'll ask for more information, like how much money did you actually receive for insurance? Do you still have unmet needs that weren't covered? And then you'll get money that way, but it's a little bit cumbersome process. But
you have to read a little bit.
You have to read a little bit into it, and then what happened was the first person that registers, they get the letter back, and it says you're denied because of you have insurance. Take a picture of it, and then it gets shared.
And then it goes viral.
It goes viral, and then everybody says, "Well, there's no need in me even registering or trying to do anything because I have insurance." And it's not intentionally bad information. It's just that on one side of it, they could communicate a little bit better and say, maybe not denied, say pending more information before we make a decision. But trying to
or go to page.
yes.
Make sure you read this entire.
Make sure you read the entire. And you know how it is. It's those documents. There's no pictures on it. It's just a bunch of small text, and I don't want to read all of this.
Just reading those fine, those big, the bold prints.
Just hit me the bullet points, but. That's part of it. So that's a challenge and it's not intentional. It's not malicious information, but it's not quite the full story to it. So trying to combat that can be challenging because government sources aren't always looked at as being the most reputable as well.
Right.
But for the most part, I can speak for Calhoun County. We're going to share good information and the right information, correct information. And as you said, you can always call us if you have any questions on anything. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions.
People don't realize that, folks. The reason why, because I work with federal money. My agency, federal money, state match, my program is, and you have to document where all that money comes from. Because you have to report back to the federal government where that money was spent, why it was spent, who it was spent, where, when, how, why, that kind of thing. But it's because, if it's federal money, that's your taxpayers' money. And they have to keep. They have to know where it's going. So I'm sure, just with FEMA, you have all that writing in there, but it's because they have to be held accountable too.
It's not that they're stewards of that money.
Yeah, they're not trying to, I guess, just be aggravating to the.
Just deny everybody not giving you the money. Too bad.
They're crossing their T's and dotting their I's too.
For sure. If it's too seamless, then there's just money flying out.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just fill this out and then they'll just send me. No, it can't. That can't work like that. I mean, I know it can be frustrating to have to fill out all this paperwork, but that's just a necessity of it, because there is a lot of people who are in need, and you have to be accountable for that and be good stewards of that taxpayers' money.
Right. And how about something that is dear to my heart because I work in it all the time, but special needs people. There's so many special needs just in our area, if you think about it. I mean, it's in every area, but you have AIDB down the road too, which I know that's Talladega County, but you have to think about that. You have to think about the vision impaired, the hearing impaired, then you have to think about disabled folks, you have to think about the elderly folks, then you have to think about the cognitive issues that people may have that have dementia, Alzheimer's, people that have autistic children, or how about grandparents that are raising their grandchildren? That's a double whammy. They may have medical, needs themselves and things going on, and then they may even be raising a special needs child. So, what do you see about how to keep them safe?
So, it's a challenge to do that, especially for the EMA, trying to find all of these people that are out there. So what we try to focus on is making those relationships with great people like Ellen, who know these, but know these individuals or know the ones that are working with them, and try to get you the information that you can share with them. Same with whether it's a dialysis clinic or a school or whoever, trying to share that information with them so they can share it with their clients and the folks that they know that may be dealing with these type of things.
Well, is there, I know that we talked a little bit on the break too about how in the South Side we had him, the chief.
Buckner.
Yeah, hey. We had him on the show one day, and he was talking about the program that they use where they register their citizens so that they know what's going on in their home, if they have animals, if they have special needs people, if they have someone that may be paraplegic or whatever's going on in their house, so that when they do get calls to that house, they know beforehand before they get there. So with that said, I know there's like the Yellow Dot program, that went on for people's cars and all that kind of stuff. Are there any programs, or do you see that being more of a trend for the future? Or is Calhoun County thinking about doing anything like that, or you just go through the 911 system?
Yeah, so 911, they maintain the at-risk registry is what it's called, but anything that you need or have that you want to add to your address, you can always call 911's business line. It's 256-237-9119 is their business line. But you can call them, give them your address and any notes that you want to put with it. So, do you have an autistic child or disabled family member? There are people that like to register their storm shelter. If they have an in-ground storm shelter, you can register that with them, so that it's a note. So if there's 911 call from your home, it'll say there's a storm shelter. They know where to look. They know where to look if a tree falls on the door and you can't get out. So there's things you can do. Put some special notes for your home in there.
That's
256-237-9119.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that you could call
the business number.
The business number.
Business line, yes.
That's one. And again, call Calhoun County EMA, and they can help guide you to that. If you forget the phone number, they can help you there. That's wonderful. I think that's really, really a smart.
Because I think that's important for first responders, because they're the ones that boots on the ground. I mean, because
the more information that they can have, the more help that they can do.
Yeah, because you can never have too much information during a disaster, correct?
Yes, you have to have somebody you got to make sure you read all the information.
Yes.
I'd rather have too much than not enough, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But good information, not misinformation.
Again, it's very important to read everything and to not be one to pass misinformation.
And what other tips can you tell our viewers? Like, I know that you sent a graphic, I think one was of the 911 radios.
Yeah. Oh. So, yes, 911 runs a radio station. They have two radio stations. There's one in Oxford, one in Jacksonville. You should be able to tune in anywhere in the county to it. So they have emergency information on there. There's the 96.3 and 95.9. So they play music on there when nothing's going on. But they have a partnership with Fox 6. So if there's severe weather, they'll actually switch over to them and have their live broadcast. Also, if there's something major that happens in Calhoun County, we have that So it's actually located at our office, the EMA 911 office. So we can push out information on it as well, which is it's a good thing for us to have and kind of have something we have control over. We can get on there live anytime and break in with new information or what's happening.
Wonderful.
It is, because the more people are aware and the more ability they are to tune in and
radios
to check.
and sirens and all that good stuff.
Well, we've got some more things to talk about. We've got to go to a quick break right now, check in with some of our wonderful sponsors, but we'll be right back. So stay tuned. You're watching Rise and Shine right here on WEAC TV 24.
Come out and check out the Alabama Tractor Difference. We can take care of all your needs of parts, sales, and service for RTVs, zero turns, and tractors and construction equipment. See us here in Lincoln at 620 Speedway Industrial Drive. Or come visit us here in Asheville at 275 6th Avenue, or give us a call at 205-594-7000.
At Southern States Bank, we pride ourselves on being your bank. We're your neighbors and involved in the community. We're the bank featuring the Southern Rewards checking account, a cashback account with no ATM fees. We are on the cutting edge and always have a smiling face to help you out. So come to Southern States Bank, where we are committed to great service and being a great neighbor. Let us be the bank for you and your business.
Hughes Paint and Body Works Towing and Recovery in Oxford is the area's leading auto body shop serving Anniston, Oxford, Talladega, and surrounding areas since 1996. They specialize in auto body repair and refinishing, paint correction, paintless dent repair, towing, and so much more. For all of your auto body needs, contact Hughes Paint and Body Works Towing and Recovery at 256-835-1170. Also online at HughesPaintandBody.com.
I'm Alan Parnell, with Parnell Insurance Agency. We've been here in Oxford and Alabama, Tallapoosa, Georgia since 1990. With Auto Owners Insurance, we're able to give customers competitive pricing along with excellent coverages. Parnell Insurance can handle all of your personal, commercial, and life insurance needs. We have a very experienced staff, both personal and commercial. All together, we've got about 125 years experience. Come see what our insurance agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, and Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Auto Owners Insurance.
At Bentley Prosthetic and Medical Supply, we care about you. We offer custom prosthetics, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and durable medical supplies. We're located here in Alexandria, Alabama, where it's a country feel but professional care. Come see us today.
Campers Unlimited, we offer a no-pressure experience, no hidden fees, and great service after the sale, making us one of the fastest-growing RV dealers in the Southeast. With our second location in Oxford, we offer a great selection of over 220 campers from top brands, including Grand Design. Our mission is to help friends and family spend time together in the great outdoors. At Campers Unlimited, you aren't just a customer, you are family. Check out our inventory at campersunlimited.net or come see us at Gaston or Oxford.
Rise and shine and welcome back. It's Friday, October 4th, 8:17 in the morning, and we have some way more things to cover. So where do we want to start? I know in the news right now, of course, there's a major disaster that happened in the North Carolina area, and again, our hearts and prayers are to them. There's also a lot of misinformation out there. I see a lot of people on social media having conflicts about this is happening or this is not happening. Let's start there and then let's move into things that maybe people need to be aware of.
And especially the FEMA part right now, because that's big in the news right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, you have different news one of the news sources saying this, another news sources say, and that happens all the time. But with FEMA, I mean, they get such a bad rap, you know. So what's going on with that? I mean, what are your thoughts about? Because they're saying that FEMA's running out of money and people are freaking out, and so
So it's actually not that uncommon of a scenario that this happens. That it happens, like I said, fairly often. That they're running low on money, especially on recovery programs, and it's usually a pretty simple, air quote, simple fix of the federal government just have to supplement them more money into their budget. So it happens, fairly often that they have to do that, because a lot of it depends on, is there a major disaster or something like North Carolina, or you have a few years ago like Hurricane Harvey in the Houston area that causes a lot of damage. There's a lot of money going out from the recovery program. So when you're trying to budget for a disaster and disaster recovery, it can be challenging, because you may hit a few years of nothing too significant, and then all of a sudden you have one that's really major and cost more. So it's not too uncommon. They'll just have to supplement their budget.
So tell the folks out there not to panic.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
And you can
Never
actually go to
panic.
FEMA's
Never
website.
panic.
Go to FEMA. Go straight to the source. Go to the website. Go actually do some due diligence on that.
And there's a lot of recovery programs that are out there. So you have your federal programs through FEMA with their individual assistance. That's kind of what that's geared towards. There's the SBA. They do personal loans, not just business loans. They do low interest loans for folks as recovery. And then there's also a lot of local programs that are available through churches or other nonprofits. So if you have recovery and relief needs, that they can get you assistance as well, along with state programs. So it's kind of a tiered approach, trying to get it from all angles, not just the federal government, but also the state, the locals.
It's not a quick fix either.
And it's not a quick fix either, especially I saw some estimates of up to 3 to 4 weeks for full power to be restored in North Carolina. So it's definitely not quick.
Yeah, that, and then on top of that, it's not very quick to get your house back in order. I mean, it's like it's a process, because you have cleanup, and then you have all these other things, and you have to get the money approved, and then it's a process.
First, you have to make sure all the people are accounted for. You got it. That comes first, right? To make sure that everyone is safe.
And I know that my cousin lives in Florida, and he told me this was really neat. I thought that the state of Florida actually opens hotels during evacuations, mandatory evacuations. They actually have shuttles that shuttle the elderly, people that don't have vehicles, or so to say. Do you see that being maybe a trend in all states, or is it just?
Possibly. Since first I've actually heard of that program.
Okay,
so it's really interesting.
Yeah.
I know Florida, they do a lot with on the front end of preparedness, because their major thing is hurricanes, which are very widespread, and that's the challenge with.
And elderly, because there's a lot of people that retired there.
Yes, and they like to move to Florida, but the challenge with hurricanes, because it's not just the storm itself, you have the flooding, it's more of a wider impact area than just like a tornado. While it's kind of just a single track, but with hurricane it's wider areas, so they have to do a lot more with evacuations than we do in Alabama, at least anyways, inland.
Right, and I know that we were talking about, I know we're all over the place, but there's so much to discuss.
There's so much.
But you talk about the 911 radio shows, and the radio, and then you have the sirens. Of course, everybody knows those, and I'll never forget those in 2018. I will never forget that sound as long as I live. I'll never forget that, because it was so eerie outside. But I was scared to death. But you have that, but they also have, is it the Nexel Bridge? Everbridge, yes, where they can get text through you guys. You can sign up for that.
Yeah, you can go to our website, calhounema.org, and sign up for that. So you can do phone call, email, or text message. You can tailor that to how you want to receive it. If you don't want a phone call, you can just do it as a text message. You can put your home address in there. So if you don't want to get them for the whole county, you just want it for if it's going to impact you. It's a very robust system, and the more information you put into it, you can more work.
I actually get it text and email just in case. You know what I mean? So
preparedness.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So what do you want to tell the audience? I mean, what are the things that you want Calhoun County to know? What do you want our citizens in Calhoun County to know?
One thing, and kind of go back, we were talking about a little bit ago, on the recovery is a slow process, and especially when you have a lot of homes damaged, there's only so many construction companies around, so there's usually a backlog of, maybe you just need a roof or you need a whole house repaired. There's a backlog of that because there's only so many construction companies. We've seen that just here locally with our tornadoes. That's a lot smaller impact area than what they've are dealing with and with the hurricane. And there was a backlog of roofers, and it's there was tarps on roofs for a few months because they've called somebody and they have them lined up, but they have so many jobs they got to keep up with it. And along with the recovery process, we'd say, always don't just vet the information that you're getting, but also vet if you have any contractors doing any work. There's people that come through after disaster wanting to prey on people's vulnerabilities and scam them. So always vet the contractor whether it's a home or tree removal. Sometimes they'll jack up the price on it, or maybe won't even do the work at all. So always
they'll
vet.
Say, pay me up front, I'll be back.
Pay you up front, I'll be back, and they don't come back, and they're not a legit business. So you can always contact. So if you're in the city limits, the city and the county, make sure they have a business license, that they are a legitimate company.
Jacksonville did a wonderful job on that. I think you guys did good during 2018, because you guys had where you had different places where people could go, different hubs where they could go to get certain things, but then they also had, we have a list of these people. If they're not on our list, don't talk to them, kind of thing. There were people you had to have like a pass to get in that area. Even as a volunteer, you had to have a pass. So I think you guys did a really good job.
Almost like you planned for it.
Right.
Prepared.
Yeah. Sometimes things do go according to plan. But so Jacksonville was a really unique situation. We were fortunate, if you can say fortunate, to have a tornado. Fortunate in that it wasn't widespread throughout the whole state. It was kind of mostly impacted to just Calhoun County, a little bit of Etowah County. So we were able to bring in a lot of resources, directly to us. So there was, people and other counties around us available. But also being within the city limits, you have a lot more kind of control of things you can block off, and there's a little bit more limited access than, if something happens out in the rural area, you've got, it's a widespread area to try to limit access to it, so it's a little bit more of a challenge. But yes, in Jacksonville we had to try to limit access to it, and not trying to keep people away, but trying to just vet those folks and make sure that these are volunteers that are actually processed in, gone through a safety briefing, because we want them to help, yes, but we also want them to do it safely. Make sure these businesses are vetted, that they're not trying to take advantage of anybody. So vetting all those folks and getting them in there to help in an efficient and effective manner is very important. And
the Hurricane Helene, that's 6 states that they're having to do. That's a lot. Versus, like you said, we were blessed that it was just in one area. So our hearts go out to those people.
Oh, absolutely. And all of the people who are donating their time and their efforts to recovery and to helping, because that's what it takes. There are some really great people out there, and we appreciate all of those efforts. Before we say goodbye this morning, I want to make sure that you are all aware on how to contact the Calhoun County EMA. So let's show that QR code one more time. Get your cell phones out. Go ahead and snap this QR code, and so you can be aware of all of the things there at Calhoun County EMA. You can text Calhoun MA to 888-777, or just scan that code right there. Sign up for that Everbridge that we just learned about. The website has great information. As you see, they do have a Facebook, a Twitter, a Instagram, and of course their website. So reach out. They are there for you, right? I want you to tell our viewers, what is something that we haven't said that you want to make sure that everyone is aware of?
Really just reiterating the preparedness, being able to receive the alerts, having a plan for when something happens, and having some extra supplies. If you have any questions, you have any trouble with the registration, you can always call us. We're more than happy to help. If you just want to chat, we're there to talk to you as well.
And people don't realize that they think EMA is only there during the disasters and the tornadoes. You guys are there every single day.
Every day.
And so one of your big things is education. So, please call them or text them at Calhoun EMA. That's,
We all want to stay safe. We want our community to be safe, and thank you for all that you do and your team, because that's what keeps our community safe and prepared and educated. Because if you're educated on something, you can handle it a lot better.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge really is power. It truly is. And having, an EMA that's strong, that's on our side, there's a lot of comfort in that. And I know y'all, like Ellen said, you work not just during disasters, but every day to keep the community safe. So we really want to make sure everyone goes on and checks out that website, follows them on Facebook, signs up for those alerts. Well, with that, I'm going to wish you both a happy weekend.
You too.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Beehive is still in theaters and theater guests, and you're going to come see us. All right.
Yes.
Get your tickets. We have 3 more shows Friday night, tonight, Saturday night at 7, and Sunday at 2 p.m. That's Beehive, a 60s musical at the Theater of Gadsden. So we'd love to invite you all to come out. So with that, we want to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us this Friday morning, and thank you to Ellen Hurst and Alabama Cares. All right, well, with that, have a great weekend. We'll see you back here Monday morning on Rise and Shine, right here on WEAC TV 24. Bye-bye.